Nicaragua has released more than 200 political prisoners to the United States, including at least one American. They landed at Dulles Airport outside Washington on Thursday, where family and friends waited to greet them. U.S. officials say the prisoners agreed to leave voluntarily. They will be given legal status in the United States on humanitarian grounds for at least 2 years. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says this marks a constructive step towards addressing human rights abuses in the country and opens the door to further dialogue between the United States and Nicaragua. Let's bring in CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe. Ed, who are the kinds of people we're talking about here, and why were they jailed in the first place in Nicaragua?
Yeah, well, 222 of them, academics, journalists, opposition, politicians, some of whom had run or were planning to run against the Nicaraguan president. Some call him a dictator, Daniel Ortega, who was reelected in 2021 in what the United States calls a sham election. He, in one way or another, has led Nicaragua off and on since 1979. And this batch of 222 had been imprisoned basically during that election season. And it's caused the Ortega government, he himself and other members of it, to be sanctioned by the United States. And of course, if you're a third world country whose leaders are being sanctioned, that can have a big effect on the economy and the ability of those leaders to do any business with the rest of the world. So suddenly today, U.S. officials announcing that Nicaragua decided to do this on their own, but made arrangements with the United States to fly them here to Washington today.
Is that what the upside is for Ortega and Nicaragua for this release, that they just gain kind of better favor in the world community?
Seemingly, and that is what went on earlier, or at some point last year with Venezuela, for example, too, in releasing a handful of hostages, American hostages, and sending them back to the United States, is now they're getting diplomatic engagement again after sanctions and after basically being singled out and brushed aside by the United States, at least in this hemisphere. So that is, according to U.S. officials, at least the hope that the Ortega regime now realizes how serious the United States was about putting them in the penalty box and setting them aside from world affairs. And we'll see going forward now whether or not relations can improve. And of course, it's been a concern of the United States in the last year or so, given the huge uptick in people who were leaving Nicaragua, trying to get into the United States illegally, citing political oppression, economic upheaval. The number of migrants now coming from further west or further south in the Western Hemisphere, Venezuela, Nicaragua, and other countries that have been affected. It's become a U.S. concern.
Only one of the prisoners is an American, but they're all getting a legal status for 2 years at least. Why is that?
That's part of the arrangement, is to allow these people to come here for at least 2 years. Many of them have family in the United States, so they may just seek legal status or at least residency permanently. The American is Michael Healy, who has U.S. and Nicaraguan dual citizenship and was an active business leader and critic of the Ortega regime, and was also imprisoned back in 2021. That was what tipped us off this morning, was that there was at least one American in this batch. And of course, the administration writ large has been focused on trying to bring wrongfully imprisoned Americans back to the United States.
Now let's switch over to Brazil. President Biden is hosting the Brazilian President Lula da Silva at the White House on Friday. What are the expectations or hopes for that meeting?
The biggest hope of this meeting for the president, at least in his team, is to remind this hemisphere and remind the world how important the president takes democracy, and that ultimately he wants to see it prevailing in all corners of the world, but especially in this hemisphere. So you take what happened in Nicaragua today with tomorrow's meeting. There's no reason that there's no relation between the two, but certainly it helps them reinforce the fact that the president's eager to meet with President da Silva, who, of course, is somebody who lost, was reelected, and whose opponent that was ousted in a fair and free election was an election denier. So that's a big part of this, is restoring democratic lowercase d principles across Latin America. Bigger concerns include, again, the issues of irregular migration. People have been coming from Brazil as well, trying to get into the United States. And climate change is a huge factor down in Brazil with the deforestation of the Amazon. But more than anything, President Biden eager to be seen with President Lula and reinforce to this hemisphere and the world that democracies matter and democratically elected leaders can lead these countries.
All right, Ed O'Keefe for us. Thanks very much, Ed.